Oh,
Got a bunch of
what's good,
frowny
boys?
faces in the windows. You guys aren't excited to record tonight. It's sad to see.
Vibes are down. This is not the vibe I expected to have going into week 3 of the college football season. I don't know where to start. It's been a pretty wild, well, obviously Saturday, I wouldn't call it wild. It was more disgusting. Bad loss. We will discuss it. An all-time meltdown by the fan base, some of which fair, some of which maybe a little bit over the top. But hey, my main thing from that is like, it feels pretty sweet to have like a KU basketball March type meltdown in September of football season. That was like, I know we're not in it for moral victories, but that was a pretty sweet feeling to see a team storm the field, to see our fan base melt down like it was March in basketball. Other than that, it sucked. Everything about it sucked. And now sparks are flying on Twitter.
Sparks will fly, baby.
I don't even know. Our head coach's wife accidentally or maybe on purpose. I don't know. She tweets something that has everyone fired up. Where do we start? Do we want to start with Twitter? Do we want to start with KU Illinois? Do we want to start with QB play, offensive coordinator? I don't know, boys. Vibes are down.
Yeah, I think we got to start with the game. I mean, there's a bunch of things to talk about. You got JD, you got the play calling, you got how good Devin Neal was. You got how good the defense was too. So there is a couple positives to take away. I thought the defense looked sick. We talked about that in the group text. I know Illinois' offense isn't incredible, but they got a couple really good wideouts. Shakari Franklin made some crazy catches, but yeah, it feels like we really handed them that one. I mean, they had barely over 250 yards of total offense. Devin Neal was doing whatever he wanted. He is still incredible, obviously, but yeah, JD definitely made some mistakes that a guy that's been around shouldn't make. And I don't know. I mean, the pick six before half, you just had a feeling it was going to be a killer. Like, just give them free points. If you just complete a pass or run the ball, you're going into halftime with the lead. But that was it. Just weird play call, and it was a lazy throw, and even that throw was off target. So I'm sure you guys will have takes on JD in the play calling, but like I said, there is a couple positives. You still have Neal, you still have Leipold, you still have a good defense.
So, AB, it was just like 2-3 weeks ago, we had Carter on the show, and I said, what's going to happen if something goes wrong early in this season? Like, and I think I specifically used the Illinois game as an example. Like, what if we go in and lose to Illinois? How will the fan base react? Who will they blame it on? And I think we mostly said Jeff Grimes. I think we also kind of maybe said it might be Jaylen if he plays bad. It's both. It is full meltdown. Everyone is mad at everyone. Jaylen and Grimes. AB, what is your take? Like, your takeaway from that game? Are you more concerned about Jaylen's performance, Jaylen's health, Grimes' play calling, or not concerned at all? Where are you at?
I'm more concerned about Jaylen than the play calling. I still think the KU fan base is being so dramatic about this. And it's, to me, the way I saw it was every goal that this team has that they want to achieve relies on them winning the Big 12 championship. So, like, in my mind, it's a team that you need JD to be good and healthy all year. You need Dev to be good and healthy all year. I'm fine with Devin Neal only getting 13, 14 carries earlier in the year in a game that, to be honest, like, yeah, you want to win it. Yeah, it's annoying that you lose, especially the way it happens. I'm fine kind of limiting their output until the games really starts to matter, because that's when this team is going to do things that they're talking about wanting to do. With that being said, I'm a little worried that, it's hard to progress as a player and athlete at anything if you don't do it very often. And Jaylen hasn't played a lot of quarterback over the last 3 years. So that to me is a little concerning. It felt like some of the throws he was making were just like so uncomfortably off. And it almost like the pick six was bad. That looked like a Jason Bean brains turned off moment that we got way too comfortable with. But I don't know. I think we all kind of expected for him to be like, all right, he's healthy now and he's playing, and there's no questions about that. He's going to bounce back to what we saw him in 2022, the end of 21, beginning of last year. And we never really thought about, wow, this guy's been like seriously injured for multiple times over the last few years. Like maybe that's just gonna, or like maybe just not gonna come back the same dude.
Yeah, I definitely am not as worried about Jaylen now. It depends on what you're worried about. If you're worried that he's injured, that's one thing. If you're worried that he's underthrowing guys because he's hurt, then yeah, that's the biggest concern and really the only concern. But to see people just being like, the guy sucks, he's not good, he's washed, like people truly are like, start Ballard, give Marshall a shot. Like, that is not a concern to me at all. Jaylen Daniels is going to, if he stays healthy, obviously big if, but if he stays healthy, I'm fully convinced we are going to see the Jaylen Daniels of last year and 2 years ago when he was healthy. So I'm definitely not concerned about that as much as I am just like, and so I think this is where B-Turn was most frustrated on Saturday. It just felt like we win that game if we just let Devin Neal and even Highshaw, like it was like we were trying to make it harder on ourselves. And I know that the game doesn't matter. And I even tweeted that and got absolutely crucified. But like at the same time, when you're staring at the game and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we want to protect Neal for the season, to your point, AB, like we don't want to give him too much production, but I think we would have just won the freaking game if we would have given him 10 more carries. I don't know. I don't know what that number is. It was a weird.
It's a lot, though. That's like 300 carries over the season. That's a lot to give a guy that's already a senior.
But not necessarily. I guess maybe it's not all to Neal, but
yeah,
run the ball.
You had more. You probably ran more design runs for JD, a guy that the whole season. This whole season relies on him staying healthy. We've said that all off season.
Mm-hmm.
So you run more design runs for him than you do for Deuce Highshaw, like a guy that's been a stud for multiple years and a guy that can replace Dev for a couple carries. And I don't understand it. I mean, they had the lead. They were up 4. It was 1st and 10. They ran it for 7 yards, and then they took 2 deep shots. I don't know if it was designed deep shots, but they ran 2 pass plays when KU just dominated on the ground the entire night. They did really whatever they wanted. I mean, the one drive Devin Neal really got fed was like 2 carries for 52 yards. He busted 2 different runs. I don't see why he couldn't get close to 20 carries in a game where – because that's the thing, like if JD was making accurate throws, the guy couldn't even make throws to the boundary. Like you saw it on the minute drive where KU needed to score. First play, he throws it to Grimm like 4 yards in play with no timeouts. He was underthrowing or overthrowing on every single deep ball by 5 to 10 yards. So it'd be a whole different story, I feel like, if KU was lethal through the air and making throws, but the only thing that was working was the ground game, and it was Devin Neal and the O-line. I don't care if you had to get Stevion Morrison in there. He had a carry for 20 yards. So just felt like the pass game obviously wasn't there, and they were killing Illinois up front just like they did last year in Lawrence, and Illinois had lost their best player on the defensive line to the NFL. That feels like a game like, yeah, maybe it doesn't matter, but KU's ranked, and that's a team that it's just not even close to your level. Like that Illinois team did nothing.
That was what was driving me insane. That Illinois is not good.
Yeah.
And we just let them hang around. And then they made the play. Like they converted on 3rd and long multiple times late in that 4th quarter. But that was so frustrating.
Like obviously it's probably the most anticipated game for them in years. You sell it out. Felt like they needed a win, but it would be different if like their offense was going off. They had 400 plus. We lost in a shootout. Like I can live with that, but I can't really live with being a 100 times better and more talented and better coached and just killing ourselves, like it's not like Illinois beat KU is kind of how I feel. And yeah, I guess you can say it doesn't matter, but what if KU goes undefeated to the Big 12 title game and they lose and don't get in? Like, could you not still get an at-large coming out of the big, or even losing one game? Like a loss to Illinois is going to be a terrible loss because that's one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. And yeah, like I said, it's a terrible loss.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the game mattered. I'd argue
no, but I said that all off season. We talked about that on here, like talking about non-con, kind of saying how much does it really matter, because Big 12 play, if KU only loses one conference game, you might make it to the Big 12 title game.
Like, the way I think about that is if we win our next 11 games or whatever it is, 10 games, make the Big 12 title game and lose, and we're sitting here debating whether or not we should get an at-large, like, I'm probably still pretty okay with that season. Now, it will be very annoying to look back and say, man, if we just beat Illinois, but I'm going to bet along the way we win some games we don't deserve to win during that span too. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not getting too hung up on this game costing us a college football playoff bid, because for it to cost us, we need to win all the games the rest of the year. And so I don't know. I
ask a question that might be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Are we overrating KU?
I don't feel like it's so many of the same guys that came back from a team that we really thought was a damn good team last year. I mean, we talk about the losses they had where you had backup quarterbacks, you had third string quarterbacks. 2 games late in the year, they should have won. So how many times did we talk about this team potentially winning double digits last year? And then they pretty much returned the same team. I guess maybe we just overlooked losing Kotelnicki and Jason Bean, but we always thought JD was the more talented guy. Like, yeah, Bean was amazing, gritty, but all the guys are back. They lost Pooney and they lost Booker, but Neal's back, JD's back, every single receiver, the whole secondary. So I felt like they at least deserved to be ranked to start the year, right?
Yeah, I don't think we overrated this team. I think, to your point earlier, AB, we probably underestimated the learning curve, or not the learning curve. Well, the learning curve of Jaylen having to learn a new offensive coordinator while also coming back after missing basically an entire season and also missing a ton of the season before that. So it's like, that's 2 things that made it more difficult. I think we underestimated that's adjustment for him.
That's almost part of my argument, though.
But I don't think long-term we're overrating this team. Like, I think this team can still go win 9, 10, dare I say 11? I probably won't say 11, but I think this team could go win 9 games still, 10 games. Like, I still look at this schedule and I'm like, Jaylen's not – if Jaylen plays like he did on Saturday, yes, this team sucks, okay? That's just facts. But he's also the worst quarterback in the Big 12 if he plays like he did Saturday, and I just refuse to believe that. The other thing I wanted to point out – well, let me just finish this thought and we can continue Jaylen. Jason Bean last year at times looked like the worst quarterback I'd ever laid eyes on. Late in fourth quarters, he crumbled under pressure. He
threw pick against Oklahoma on the screen. Oh, heavens.
I'm pretty sure I tweeted something like, I never want to see Jason Bean throw another football ever again. Hand up. I tweeted that. At the moment, I never wanted to see Jason Bean throw another football. I'm really glad I did. But the thing is, he figured it out. Like, it's college football. We say it all the time. They're college kids. And guys grow throughout the year. And certainly to give up on a guy that just missed half a season the year before and then most of last year, to think he's just not going to slowly improve if he stays healthy this year, I think is crazy. I think it is a massive over exaggeration. But
Yeah, and that's the thing about Saturday too, is why is he throwing it 30 plus times? Like, yeah, you can talk about the mistakes he made, but when you're that effective on the ground, why is your quarterback throwing it 30 plus times when he wasn't accurate the entire night? Like, the whole second half should have been just pounding the rock after that pick six because, well, first off, back to the pick six, that drive, they ran a fucking bubble screen to Jared Casey on 2nd and 39 or whatever it was. I don't understand that. Like, and we love Jared Casey. That's nothing on him, but you're throwing a bubble screen to your 5'9", 300-pound tight end. And then you throw the same play to the opposite side, which that was lazy on JD. Like, you even saw Skinner jump to go up and catch it. And I'm pretty sure we just missed the block on the bubble screen, but why are you even like, if you're going to run bubble screens, just run a draw up the middle with Deuce or get Savion in and just go into halftime because you're not going to pick up the first down running bubble screens regardless. So I don't know. I felt like obviously it's on JD. He threw 3 picks, but maybe Grimes is not putting him in great situations to succeed there. You're just forcing JD to throw it all night long when he wasn't accurate and didn't really seem very confident. So why not just pound the rock with Devin or any of the running backs? I really don't understand why they continued to try to air it out when there was nothing there. Like, there was no momentum in the passing game the entire night, really.
Can I throw a take out there that might be controversial? Was the
Have we
JD
ever allowed
pick
that?
was the JD pick at the end of the first half all his fault, or did Jared Casey
No.
miss a block?
I've heard it. I haven't watched it again because I don't want to, but I've heard it was a missed block on that screen to Skinner. Like, that guy, the DB that came up to pick it should have been blocked.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, it still
that's
wasn't a
7
good
free
throw.
points for a team that cannot move the ball. I mean, Illinois' offense sucks. Altmaier's terrible. They rushed for like 50 yards. People are acting like their defense did anything special to stop us. It was a pick six. It was a pick in the end zone, and it was a pick on the first drive where Grimm was wide open. Almost said Grimes again. How much? I mean, do you think like people like me or the fan base are overreacting on Grimes and his play calling, or do you guys think it is an issue? And if it is, or if you don't think it's an issue, I guess what makes you think that?
I still think it's too early, and I think that we'll have to see, in my eyes at least, I'll have to see conference play and how it goes throughout the season. Because it's, at the end of the day, this is its first like real game as the OC at KU. So like, I'm not gonna like throw in the towel on him and overreact. And like, obviously it wasn't great, it wasn't pretty. I had many questions in the moment, but it's just gonna be miserable for us if we try and if we're too upset with him, too against him on September 9th. Like, but we still got to get a little more time.
Yeah, I'm definitely annoyed, but it's really easy to say after the fact. Like, we all came into that game thinking Jaylen Daniels was still going to play like a superstar. Like, we would have been fine if you told us before the game that Jaylen Daniels was going to throw it however many times he did. It felt like it was very frustrating not seeing him make the adjustments. It was like, B-Turn, I think you made a good point on Twitter. It was the UCF game last year. We did nothing but run the ball, and it just worked, and it worked, and it worked, and it worked, and we didn't stop.
Been through it 9 times. We scored 50 points.
Yeah, and I don't think that's how it would have happened, but I don't understand why there wasn't more of an adjustment to be like, hey, Jaylen doesn't have it, and we're getting exactly what we want on the ground. But I'm not. To me, it's like maybe it's a good eye opener. Maybe it's a good thing.
That's why does it go from up and down the coaching staff to not talk to Grimes or make adjustments at halftime, like even at half, because we had been running the ball well. One of our touchdown drives was strictly from Dev. So does it go on most of the coaching staff for not talking to him? Or maybe that's another thing with Grimes is it's too early in the year for a guy like Lance or someone to go up to him and not take away play calling duties, but kind of get on his ass about the play calling when it's week 2. But then what if you get into Big 12 play and you're one loss away from all your this entire team's goals for making the Big 12 title, and play calling is another issue in a Big 12 game, and they end up losing? Like, I don't know. I also feel like as fans and that we kind of underrated losing Kotelnicki. Like, we kind of just brushed it off. It felt like, just because we are diehard fans and we thought Lance could figure it out. And it's only 2 games in, but man, I wanted to ask you guys, like, how many points and how many yards does KU put up on Saturday night if Kotelnicki was the OC? Like, they scored 17 points, dude. They're averaged 8 a carry. They would have scored 30 points.
I think the thing we're forgetting, though, is we've lost some disaster games that we had no business losing in the Lance Leipold era, like Oklahoma State last year. Just a complete and utter meltdown in the second half with Kotelnicki as offensive coordinator. And I didn't even get to watch that game. I was playing in a golf tournament. I was listening to it. So I don't know what you're about to fire back at me with, AB. But
nothing. Just don't bring up another game we should have won.
Oh, well,
but those teams are just on such different levels.
That
was a close game. Bean threw a bunch of picks in the second half. Like, that just felt kind of like a Bean meltdown, as much as we love him.
So
Oklahoma State played the Big 12 title game.
I would say a little bit of this is a Jaylen Daniels meltdown, because Bean was throwing the ball and we weren't saying, why aren't we running the ball? Why aren't we running the ball? Because Jason Bean was electric in the first half. And so we trusted him to be good in the second half, and he just sucked. And that's what happened with Jaylen. Not that he was good in the first half, to B-Turn's point. Like, it was pretty evident.
He was worse in the first half.
Yeah, Jaylen didn't have it. It was pretty evident. But, like, I also think if Jaylen just makes a couple good throws instead of the throws he made, we're not having this conversation at all. Like, so we'll see. I guess where I'm like having a hard time with it is if we go this season being like, God, we can't throw the ball, we got to run. Like, I don't know if any of this matters, because if Jaylen's not good, we're not good.
I was at a wedding Saturday, so I was in and out watching the game, honestly. But was JD really missing open guys, or was he just? When I watched, it felt like he was taking shots one-on-one deep, and the deep balls just were not close. Like,
yeah, it's just,
it didn't feel like guys were schemed wide open, and he was missing them. Like the pick in the end zone, I kind of didn't even really see that one either. I don't know if you guys can kind of describe it, but
it was just a really bad underthrow, like easy interception. Open? I think with a good pass, it could have been I don't know, AB, you tell me. I'm not a quarterback expert, but I think with a good pass, that receiver could have caught that in stride, similar to like Luke Grimm did in week 1.
Well, that's the other thing, is the touchdown pass to Grimm. That was a bad throw too.
Yeah.
It was just a hell of a catch and adjustment by Grimm. He threw it behind him by 3 yards. So, like, and that's why I'm saying I have more questions about JD than Grimes so far. But
that's why are you throwing it 35 times when you watch your quarterback all night leading up to the fourth? We had 7 yards of offense in the fourth quarter leading up to that final drive. And back to that, like, that 1 minute drill was one of the worst I've ever seen in my life.
It was really bad.
JD's just been around for too long for that shit. Like, there was one where they get the first down. I thought they should have went up and clocked it, but he's orchestrating everyone to get around. You lose 10 seconds, and then he runs for 1 yard. I'm like, dude, first off, just throw the ball away, or you should have killed it, like I said. But the first play of the drive, really, you're just like, yep, this is exactly how the night's gone for KU and for JD. He throws it 4 yards to Grimm in play with no timeouts. And we weren't going to score anyways, probably, but
it was one of those games where, like, just nothing was going right at that point. That we were not putting together a 1 minute drive to win that game.
No.
What I wanted the crazy thing about all this, though, is the muffed punt. If we recover that ball, I'm convinced KU wins the game by double digits, and we're sitting here talking about how we're going 12-0. Like, that is how stupid football is. We go from, I'm sitting in the living room going, touchdown, safety, touchdown. What is it? What is it? And it's a 20-yard gain for freaking Illinois. Like, that was an all-time momentum swing to think you're going to score. And then I'm thinking, oh, it must be a safety. So then getting
Even
a touchback.
the announcers were going, "Safe. Oh, that's a safety."
What an idiotic rule.
Have you guys seen that in your lives
before, no.
watching football? Well, first off, he would have been tackled inside the 15. Like, I'm pretty confident of that. Second off, you start with better field position than that somehow after fumbling it back to the end zone. And then, we've never seen it so insanely confused. But the announcers were saying safety.
Yeah.
And then Illinois they went and scored, right?
I don't even know.
I feel like they had to have.
It's just such a stupid rule because, like, I feel like, remember in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots when there was that, like, controversy of did Edelman touch it on the punt and then Sorensen picks it up and ran it in?
You can't advance punts.
You can't advance it, but why wouldn't the ball just be dead where he touched it if that were going to happen? But I mean, I get why it can't be dead because it's muffed, so, like, we should still have a chance to get it. But, like, if they shouldn't be able to get, like, an advantage off of fucking up multiple times.
So
how do they start at the 20? How do they start at the 20?
Like, I know this is really dumb, but
they got rewarded.
Like, if you were, I don't know, I'm just thinking of a scenario where you're standing back there on the 1 yard line and the ball's coming to you. Could a guy not just I know it would be a huge risk, but like purposely muff it and then let it bounce into the end zone and dive on it? Like, it would be a really dumb play, but it could work.
I think you would just, if it was at like the 1 or the 2, I think you're probably better off just letting it bounce and hopefully it bounces into the end zone. But it crossed my mind too, because, like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I started being like, why would you not just always toss it in the end zone? And then, but it was also Illinois was an inch away from losing that ball.
Because it's also, you guys know the rule where, like, if you fair catch a kickoff, you can have a free kick at the field goal from wherever you are in the field with no rush off of a tee. So it's like, in my mind, it's like, okay, Harry Butker, if someone's going to pooch it against the Chiefs, can we just have him set up shop at our own 35 and kick a, what would that be, 75-yard field goal with no rush, no defense at all off the tee, and just be like, let's see how that goes? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, I don't know. It's always the weird rules that I'm trying to think about, like, how can you bend this to your advantage?
Yeah. Someone in the comments just said, "What did Ryan just say?"
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
So I didn't really hear the ruling or the call, but basically it was a touchback because we touched it after the fumble. Like, if it would have hit Illinois and then hit their guy and their guy would have deflected it into the end zone, that still was a touchback.
Yeah, that's what happened.
They said because
I thought it hit our guy.
Because it was muffed and it wasn't like caught and then fumbled, there was no full change of possession, so it was still technically like our ball on the. It was so stupid.
And that's what I was trying to idiotically explain. Is like, well, in that scenario, you could purposely never take possession of it if you're inside the 5 and try to get the ball into the end zone and then dive on it, and you get a touchback.
Dude,
Touchdown.
That really is. I hate you. Damn it! I need field goals. Yeah, that's that is just an insane break for Illinois. Like, that goes from KU ball inside the 20, or even Illinois recovering it like at the 5 or inside the 15. But to fumble it, muff a punt, go in the end zone, and then you get to start at the 20-yard line, like. Yeah, still, I'm very pissed about 2nd and 3 taking just 2 shots down the field.
I hate to be a damper here, but Dom Pooney just got called for a holding and it brought back a touchdown. I think they spotlighted his name. Maybe it wasn't on him. Maybe it was on one.
Yeah,
maybe they showed him because he had his quick block.
Comments have been saying he's been absolutely dominating all night, so that's been making me sad.
Well,
but our O-line's not a problem. Our O-line's sick.
Sweating out James MacArthur against the top of the Yankees order right now in a 1-run game. So if I just leave unexpectedly, that's what happened.
Don't tell me. Please. Just don't tell me what happens.
Oh, and the Royals?
Yeah, and football.
Last thing I'll say on JD, I think you were talking a lot about the pick in the first half. The pick to me that was just absolutely brutal and you can't have it is the one that we were just talking about where he just underthrew the guy. I can't remember who he's thrown to on that play, but like that was the drive where it felt like if we score there, the game's over. I think we were winning, weren't we? Didn't we have a 3-point lead? We're at midfield.
Because we came out and scored first drive of the second half, right? We were down at half. We got the ball coming out, scored. Yeah, you have points on the board there. That's why I was saying he's been around way too long to make mistakes like that. Like, worst case, I mean, I know he had the throw, but the last thing you can do there is throw a pick when you have points on the board and you're facing a team that can't move the ball on offense and your defense is just balling out. That's why it's really annoying. Like, the defense was so good and it feels like a smack in the face to them.
It was, but then, oh my God, the last drive by Illinois was so frustrating. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to say anything bad about that defense, but holy smokes. Those were some of them.
I mean, the catches Sakari Franklin made were insane. The defense was great all night. It felt like they were on the field quite a bit, but I looked, possession was like 30 minutes to 30 minutes, so they really weren't. But I have nothing bad to say about them. I think the one drive where they did get stops is when they needed to. But it only resulted in a field goal, which a lot of time came off, but a touchdown would have put the game away. Our secondary is awesome, and that's why I'm excited for Friday night. UNLV has some stud receivers. I mean, Ricky White's one of the best in the country, so I'm interested to see Kobe and Mello against those guys. And I don't know. I guess we're all feeling fine, but when would you guys really start to melt down? Like, because I'm kind of looking at the next two games as obviously being pretty tough. You go to West Virginia, you got UNLV. I feel like there's a pretty solid chance we're 2-2, which sounds shitty, but that West Virginia has been a game that we've been worried about for a while.
I feel like if this team is good, if this team is who we thought they were, shout out, what's that guy's name? Cromell? Denny? No, Denny Green. Denny Green, right? Yeah.
Dennis.
Dennis Green. Denny.
Rest in peace.
Former North Carolina shooting guard, Danny Green.
The very name.
Spurs.
Yeah.
And Lakers. He was great for LeBron.
Awesome for LeBron.
Carried him to a title.
And the most real championship ever won.
The fact that you have to clarify that tells me all I need to know.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
It
was the most hard-fought championship ever won by any athlete.
Let me get ahead of it too. James, what are we doing?
Okay. What I was going to say, though, if this team is who we thought they were, they're going to win against UNLV on Friday. If they don't, we'll see you. I'm out. I will melt down. They're going to win on Friday. And then you just go in and you win at West Virginia like you can, like you should. And we are right where we thought we might be heading into week 5. We talked about it all year, all offseason. We might have one loss heading into K-State. And I think that is still very possible if this team is who we thought they were. We're going to find out a lot over the next 2 weeks, boys.
Yeah, it starts with Friday.
UNLV's sneaky
that's full
scary,
meltdown
which
Friday.
is not good.
Circa dropped that tweet the other day, and it was like a 7-point spread. Stunning. They hadn't even considered this one being a possible. How do you guys feel about the blackout being at Children's Mercy Park?
It makes sense because you can't do a blackout at Arrowhead when half the stadium's going to be red seats or whatever.
Red seats, yeah.
But so I do think it'll look cool from a fan standpoint. I just don't like wearing the black uniforms against UNLV. Like to me, those black uniforms are sacred. They are for night games. They are against K-State, against Oklahoma State. Again, I'm talking big games, not UNLV. It just feels like a slap in the face to incredible uniforms. So
yeah, you got to save those for like Iowa State or Colorado because you can only wear them at home, probably, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but whatever. we got bigger problems than deciding. We'd be probably hype about it if we were 2-0, but it was kind of just like, oh my God, you're going to drop the black uniforms on us right after we just lost. So that hurt a little bit, but
I'm so
might be just what we need. I think we got to talk about the latest news that has happened on this timeline. We've waited long enough. AB and I were kind of arguing at the before we recorded. I don't know what to say. Our head coach is,
I want to know what his argument is.
Our head coach
arguing.
Is not arguing, but like I think we disagreed the way we took the tweet. Yep. Our head coach's wife may or may not have tweeted something about us our fans not caring enough to fill the stadium. I think it was an accident. She tweeted it. If she comes out and is like, yeah, I tweeted it because the tickets aren't selling, I'd kind of respect it a little more. But it just felt like really bad timing to have that mistake happen. Felt like a slap in the face to like what I know the fan base has been behaving like lunatics. But like that's what you want. You want the reaction you got Saturday. Like that tells me something's going really well when our fan base reacts that way to a loss. With that said, AB, you didn't seem to be that concerned about the tweet.
No. I don't know. I think I misread it at first, maybe. I took it more of like, we don't have a stadium that they wanted, like that they're super pumped to pack right now. It's kind of how I originally took it, and that's why I originally was in this stance. So if it's the opposite and she's like blatantly saying the fans don't give a shit, obviously you can't be tweeting that. Probably pretty scary with conversations that would be happening privately or supposed to be privately, that those things are being thrown around. But I just, at first, I didn't take it that way. So I was kind of.
For those that, if you haven't seen it by now, Kirk Herbstreit tweeted a Nebraska video, said, "This is incredible," of the sold out crowd. And Kelly Leipold, whether or not it was on purpose, meant to be a DM, who knows, maybe a burner account, who knows. I don't think it was a burner though, because she said but she said, "Crazy if we could only be at a place where the fans actually care to pack it." I just don't think that was her being like, man, sure wish we could be back home at David Booth Memorial Stadium where our fans could be at home. It was definitely like our fans don't care, Nebraska fans care more than ours.
But if that were the case, he have gone to Nebraska if he was supposedly, but he wasn't offered. Wouldn't that be like a weird?
But I think it definitely showed, like my concern with it is like,
well,
we sit here every season and deal with the rumors and worry about the rumors.
Let me play devil's advocate. If they really felt that way, what's happened in the last six months that would have changed how they felt going into last offseason when there were offers being thrown around, or the offseason before when there were things being talked about? Like, why is it like, yeah, we're going to be worried about it, but like, I can't imagine if those are real feelings from her. I can't imagine that they just popped up in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I think the problem is we don't want to be constantly worrying about him leaving. Like, and I know we always will, but it would be nice to just feel like he's our guy until he retires. And
that's never going to happen, though.
It could, though. Like,
if we know his agent, though, his agent's going to throw him out, and it's going to be Bruce Feldman tweeting it every time there's a job opening that Lance Leipold's a name to look out for. That's going to happen. And Notre Dame's going to open up this winter. I guarantee the Bruce Feldman has a tweet that has a picture of Lance running out of the tunnel at TCU, ready to battle. Lance Leipold is a name to look for in the Notre Dame talk, and then he'll get another extension and a raise, and the stadium will be one step closer to being ready. That's just what we're going to have to live with, and it sucks, but that's probably the reality that every offseason until Lance is literally old at the point where he's old enough where he's just not going to want to go and take another job. It's just that's just going to be
the game is the game. Like, you got to do that. I get it, but it just felt like really bad timing. It felt like a team that's already like a fan base that's already sensitive when it comes to whether or not Lance will stick around and whether or not he really wants to be here. And
can we take a deep breath?
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, the fan base is on an all-time heater right now with overreactions.
John, I love you, but let's just take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath, because I know the comments were full over the summer that Kotelnicki was overhyped and the receivers didn't like him, and this would be a good change in the long run for KU. So let's slow down. We've played one real team. There's 10 games to go against other real teams. Let's just chill out a little bit. We're going to be fine. Everyone take a deep breath. They can still go out and win the Big 12. We'll forget that this Illinois game even happened. We're fine. Maybe. If we're not fine, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State, I didn't pay attention, but they weren't good Saturday, were they?
No, they were losing to Bowling Green, I believe, in the second half. And pretty consistently, we're going back and forth with them in the first half. Trailed multiple times. Hey, yeah. I would like to thank Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, because, you know, when a top 5 team loses to a MAC team, it really takes the load off the other teams that might have been upset that were ranked. It doesn't look as bad when Notre Dame's losing to Northern Illinois on a day that we lose to Illinois.
It all goes back to my takes about college basketball, coaching hires. This whole thing of just hiring assistant coaches, I don't get it. You're Notre Dame. Why did you hire your assistant coach? You could have gone out and had I don't know.
Well, Ryan, hear me out. He got the players excited to play in a bowl game.
Yeah, he really resonated with the locker room. Great locker room guy.
There are so many stupid coaches in football. It makes me so mad. Like, I just don't understand some decision making of, like, I can't even remember the game. I don't even remember if it was college or NFL. Someone punted down 3 or 4 with like 2.5 to go at midfield. It might have been the Raiders yesterday. Like, what are we doing?
Remember when Oregon
Chiefs had a real bad punt on Thursday too? It's like, come on, Andy, wake up, snap into it.
This is just very false. I think I would maybe be the one that is the most anti us just hiring an assistant coach. Maybe there's a clip of me saying, maybe I was drinking the Kool-Aid after he flew through the air and broke his arm for our team. I don't know. Other than that, I don't think I've ever been a Jeremy Case for KU's next head coach guy. So, slander. Yeah, I mean, college, that is one of the best parts about college football season, and NFL, even NFL, is just watching coaches make horrible decisions. What was the play? Was it Miami, where all he had to do was take a knee last year and the game's over and they fumbled?
Oh, heavens to Betsy, Ryan. Oh my God. Insane.
Yeah, it is crazy.
There's just so many things that are just like, this has to be common sense. I'm not saying I could go out and coach a football team, but I could make that decision a lot better.
It is a tough scene for you to be saying this after John Darrell put on one of the,
That was talent related, not strategic related.
Yeah, you sound like Dion.
Well, here's the thing, Ryan.
Anthony Dion backs.
John Dion Darrell. I played golf with a guy named Darrell the other day. Fun fact. You guys should have seen my face when we pull up and we're like, all right, yeah, we're at 4:10. And they're like, all right, we're a few minutes behind. It was 4:07. They just let the 3:40 tee time go. Oh. And we didn't finish the round because of darkness. I was very frustrated. But anyways, 2 dudes pull up and they're like, yeah, we're 4:10. And they're just like, oh, you're with these guys. So we shake their hands. And older guy comes in and like, I'm Darrell. How you guys doing? I looked at Riley. I was like, there's no way this guy's name is Darrell. His name was Darrell. And he might as well have been named Tiger from holes 4 through 9. He was the best player I've ever seen for 5 holes. 6
Darrell's can play.
Yeah.
B-turn, what were you gonna say?
Oh, did you see Shea Durr after the Nebraska game on Saturday?
Yeah, I actually didn't.
Well, he walked off the field with like 2 minutes left, and then press conference kind of blamed his O-line and blamed the play calling and blamed the coaches.
Dude,
it's insane that people, and maybe someone's stupid enough to do it. I can't believe some people have him as like the top pick in the NFL draft or like the top quarterback. Talents, I agree, talent is something. No NFL team's going to trust him to like lead a locker room. And after all the shit he says about his teammates and throwing people under the bus and always having something to say, always having an attitude problem, like those are all things that they're going to take into account too. And it just seems crazy to me. He is good, but like I wouldn't want to put up with that as a fan.
Dude, it is crazy. Like Colorado, what was it? The first 3 weeks last year, first 2 weeks, all-time hype. Like
football.
I was obsessed with. I was like, it was. You had to be on your couch, locked into Colorado football. Like I loved it, and to see how quickly they have fallen off, and now are just like, oh, just so made fun of it. Everything they do now is so cringe. And do you think Dion will still coach when his kids move on?
I don't know, man. I
Or
don't
is
think
this all just a money grab and he'll just like start a reality show or start a podcast or something?
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be in there for the long haul. I just don't think that he has the personality or the will to have to deal with this every single year for the next like decade. I think. When are all his kids done? Are they done after this year? All of them?
I don't know
Or could
about
he just,
the defensive dude.
well, he ain't great. So maybe he just bounces once Shador leaves.
Yeah, he'll be his manager, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
I guess just back to KU football, I received a text that the offensive line showed their frustrations about the run game on Saturday night to Coach Grimes. And I guess
Good.
he's listened and people inside the building are not worried.
Yeah. I think this is like what happens. You're a new coach. You're going to have to make some adjustments. It wasn't going to be perfectly smooth. And I still think we're going to be 6-1 heading into Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could start to worry when it gets into Big 12 play. Like, yeah, they lost to a team that isn't close to as good, but if you start to see these same issues in Big 12 play, but if you can win that game in Morgantown, I mean, this fan base should be through the roof.
Can I say
have a
something?
bunch of confidence going forward. Yes.
We can start to worry if we lose to UNLV. I'll say that. If we lose to UNLV, we can worry.
Thank you.
But if they go, what if they go 9-0 in the Big 12?
Well, guys, let's go. You got to go 1-0 to go 9-0. Only game on my mind is West Virginia. And speaking of the West Virginia game, I would just like
these games don't affect Big 12 standings.
While we're live, that's what I was trying to say earlier. While we're live, I would like to thank the Big 12 for scheduling the West Virginia game at 11 a.m. on Saturday, September 21st. Everyone give a big
huge
clap
news
it up.
for my wedding.
We've been worried about it for a calendar year.
Massive.
It was awesome. And honestly, I forgot it was happening. I was eating my lunch in the truck today at work, and I'm scrolling. It's like 11:30, and I scroll past, and it says, KL, early game in Morgantown for KU football.
Honestly, those are great for road games in general because we hate the 11 a.m. at home, but when they're on the road, you can just wake up and you watch it instead of having to wait until 6 at night. Yeah. Do you guys agree? Or
that is
Saturday was
correct.
Brutal. Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
And then the game came on, and I was just like, might sound rough. I wasn't all in. I was just like, I waited all day, and I'm just.
Do the Johns sit together in a room? Like the fact that these are different people, like, are they the same? I don't know, but it's killing me.
It's the same guy with 2 different monitors and 2 different accounts.
Yeah, just dinner, lunch, dinner, lunch.
Michael Jackson.
Maybe, can you eat on camera?
I did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the Johns
must have been the best day of their lives.
Yeah.
Lunch. I went to Quick Trip and I got one of those trays where it's like an adult Lunchable, and it's like thick salami and like some Swiss cheese and some crackers. Had one of those and some some dry roasted peanuts. Been on a real dry roasted peanut kick lately. What's so funny?
You guys gotta remind me to try.
Oh my God.
Blast.
They have
How hard is
Baja
it?
Blast like gelato now, it would appear. And I'm tempted to drive across the street right now.
Like the ice cream?
The very same. Like a sherbet.
Taco Bell. You guys have given Taco Bell way too much like free reign to just get away with whatever they want to get away with.
What do you mean?
Like I feel like Taco Bell needs to get. They're just getting a little too crazy.
They use like 9 ingredients.
Yeah,
and then
is
that part of your point?
Well, it's just like I guess it's smart marketing, but it's like they're always doing something to alter those 9 ingredients.
And where did it put them?
I think they're good. The Topeka drive-through Taco Bell is the longest line you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, maybe you guys need another one.
Free reign.
I think we have another one. It's just I'm not that interested in getting Taco Bell. But I don't know. I don't have much else. I think we got our takes off. It is what it is. This sucks.
You're not going to say anything? You're not going to congratulate me? Braden, I hit a 5-iron, 205 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm fired up about it, Braden. I'm fired up.
A dart?
205.
Oh, it was smoked.
He said
it was long.
He said he goes, I hit a 205, I hit a 5-iron, 205 yards, and I think your next text was like carried it 205.
Yeah, I didn't want you to think I like grounded one and rolled it downhill. Like
you hit a missile top that just rolled 205.
Yeah, not a stinger. No, this thing was schlacked.
Yeah. I mean, if you could, I imagine you could pretty consistently hit the ball really far if you just made good contact, AB. You're a strong man.
Wagon.
Yeah, also, I mean, this is just annoying. Like, I didn't even.
Sorry, it's not funny, but just the way you said that.
It's like we get him because Marco gets hurt. Now he's hurt.
Yeah, precisely.
2 months, so
he'll be fine. Just
early November.
He'll be fully healthy and in the mix by conference play. But I will say it will suck if he can't get his moment to shine because he's hurt, and then Spill already has the rotation figured out by the time he's ready to roll.
Yeah.
We're losing focus.
Oh, I forgot we got the other guy. I do not think this is his name. Yeah. I don't think his name is Doggy Coit, but maybe.
Diggy.
David.
His nickname's Diggy. David Coit.
Doggy Coit would be electric. I wish that was his name, but
I don't think his name is Doggy.
Doggy Coit. It might be now. It might be now.
Yep.
I don't think his name's Doggy.
What if it was? He's such a dog.
I'm like, hey, I've been very out of the mix this offseason, but I think I would have known if we got a guy named Doggy Coit. I think that one would have come across my timeline.
Yeah, Doggy Coit.
Are you guys going to the game Friday?
Still trying to decide. We've got a lot going on.
No, you don't.
You know, everyone always says wedding planning is like stressful, and for like the first year and 2 months, I was like, this isn't stressful at all. And here we are. We're 2 weeks in.
You're a procrastinator. Now it's all like, holy shit, we're here.
That's right.
Hey, I have a question. Are you more stressed about? Here we go. Are you more stressed about the actual night of the wedding and everything going correctly, or having work set up enough that you can bounce for 2 weeks and not have it change too much? I'm sure that's been planned for months, but like, is there any part of you that's like, well, what if this client never wants to talk to me again because I was in Barbados Eating cheese, eggs, and potatoes.
I'm available. I can always answer a phone call. I won't.
You will not.
I'm gonna try to enjoy my honeymoon, but if I need to, I'll answer the phone. I'm way more stressed just about like, you know, a lot of people, not me, a lot of people put in a lot of hard work to put on this great wedding. It's going to be great. But the fear is always you just don't want it to go something to go wrong because you want it to be nothing but great vibes all day. And I'm a vibes guy.
Let me remind you, everyone going's going to have a great time and just be happy for you guys and happy they're there no matter what happens. So don't worry about it too much. As someone that's never gone through a wedding, but just
let me remind you,
everything's going to be fine. And don't stress so much that you don't enjoy it.
Maybe. Oh, yeah,
I know.
I'm not that stressed.
It's going to be a fun night. It's meant to be fun. Just,
it's good advice.
Jane's
don't overthink it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jane's gonna be.
They'll be hammered by halftime of the KU game.
I can't wait. I can't wait for a wedding planner who's like a pretty intense. Those wedding planners, like they do not mess around. Like and to imagine her and Jane's going at it for 12 straight hours on Saturday is gonna be hilarious. When he's like seal walking at the church as we're supposed to be lining up or something, or doing fake interviews as he's ready to walk down the aisle.
Yeah. Well, my buddy Ryan, I wish him a lifetime of happiness, and I think Hannah's great. And
does he get a speech?
No.
Come on, dude.
That's bullshit.
He probably will. He'll probably stand up on the DJ table. Hey, I got something to say. Les Miles and the Kansas Jayhawks are going to the playoff this year. God,
bowling, baby.
He was just 4 years too early. Some of his speeches during the Les era were so electric, but so wrong.
There was one with Doses and Mimosas playing in the background where he just got in. Like Puka's mom came up to him and was asking, "Are you okay standing on that table?" I'm just.
And then he jumped into your arms.
Puka juice. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, God, those were the days. Now we're playing at Sporting KC, and our coach's family hates us. Just kidding. I kind of. Hey, what if this was subtly like a?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like a little. A purposeful mistake by Kelly Leipold that was like, hey, I'm going to send a message. His fan base needs to step the hell up and get to these damn games. And this is the only way that it will get through. I don't know if it's going to work that way, but I kind of respect the attempt if that was what you were going to try to do.
I mean, it's pretty hard to accidentally tweet that.
Well, dude, something about some people...
Like you would double check, you would read it 10 times.
I don't know.
See who you're sending it to.
That's what kind of makes me worry that maybe she's doing this a lot. Like, does she have a little friend group chat where she's just firing tweets, being like, probably firing our tweets off? Like, oh, look at these idiots.
If she did do it a lot, would we not think that she would be smarter about doing it and know what, you know what I mean? Like if she knows, like this.
But Kevin Durant got outed for his burner. Like he messed up. People mess up all the time.
I know.
But it felt like she was trying to send it to someone. Felt like she was trying to send it to Lance on DMs.
I think she was trying to send it to Kirk. Heinrich.
Because she said.
Why didn't you name it Kirk, Braden?
Crazy if we could only be at a place. That made me think she's talking to her husband.
Yeah, but if I refuse to believe that Lance and Kelly Leipold communicated.
Or yeah, maybe she was trying to DM. Yeah, maybe she was trying to DM Kirk.
I think that's possible. Like, just to be like, man.
Text him. Or.
Me?
Like if
B-Turn probably has Kirk Herbstreit's phone number. I don't know why.
He'd find it by the end of the night. He'd find it by the end of the night. Yeah.
Hey, Kirk, can I get on game day? Can I sit on the game day set with you guys this weekend?
Yeah, Braden, no problem.
Yeah, sure, Braden.
Yeah,
you can be the guest picker this week. Yeah.
Here's a treat for him.
I guess I was saying Kelly could text him, but maybe she doesn't have his number.
I thought you were about
But
to say
if-
Kelly Kapowski.
All right. I gotta go.
No, you don't.
You don't have nothing. You're coming to the
Yeah.
game.
I'll probably come to the game, but I do gotta go.
All right, boys.
We'll see ya.
Love you. We'll be seeing you.
Season done.
Rock
We'll be
chalk
fine.
it up.
6-1 heading into Manhattan. Book it. All right. See ya.